The following program is made possible with the support of Papa John's Pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. With 5 locations in the Wilmington area, Papa John's Pizza. Better ingredients. Always had them, always will. Wilmington International Airport. Committed to a relaxed, enjoyable flying experience. Now offering daily nonstop flights to Charlotte, New York, and Philadelphia with American Airlines, and Atlanta with Delta. Details at flyilm.com. Ruby Tuesday at Monkey Junction, featuring uncompromising freshness and quality and gracious hospitality. Ruby Tuesday at Monkey Junction, the perfect place for your next casual dining experience. And PortCityDaily.com. You can do without the paper, but you can't do without the news. PortCityDaily.com is your online local news source for Wilmington and the surrounding Cape Fear region.
Heading down the stretch of the high school football season, welcome to Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com, bringing you interviews with all 4 of our high school football coaches from New Hanover County tonight as we start to, again, head down the stretch with just a couple of games to go as we get ready for the postseason in just a couple of weeks. A quick recap from Week 10 of the high school football season back on Friday night. The New Hanover Wildcats traveled to Monkey Junction and picked up a 34-0 win over the Ashley Screaming Eagles. Senior quarterback Burke Estes, regular season school record, he broke it for passing yards with 407 passing yards in the win for the Wildcats. Garrett Walston, University of North Carolina commit, had 9 catches, 208 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the victory. New Hanover in the driver's seat atop the conference, 4-0 in the division on a 5-game winning streak, 7-2 overall. The Hoggard Vikings traveled down to Shallotte, picked up a 30-13 win over West Brunswick. Bryant Sasser with a touchdown pass to Colin Hare. Rashad Wallace also found the end zone for the Vikings, who are 3-1 in league play, 5-4 overall. We'll catch up with a couple of football players from Laney later on in the show as the Bucks had their bye week last Friday night. Our first guest tonight, New Hanover head football coach Earl Smith. And Coach, obviously, you're streaking right now, 5 games in a row. You've come up with wins, 4-0 in conference, 7-2 overall. I think you're really coming into form here as we head through the late season push.
Yes, we second half of the game was pretty good. We came out a lot flat on offense, and luckily our defense hung in there and had a shutout. The first half we scored 7, and we had an opportunity to put points on the board right at the end of the half, which we didn't. But I was pleased with the way we came back out second half, and offense got it going. And like Burke had a great night. Lamont Howard actually had the 200 yards.
Okay.
And,
okay.
It was him, and I think Garrett was close to 100, but Lamont had a breakout night. I think he had 3 touchdowns, and just an excellent job by him.
Just another one of those weapons that Burke can go to. Obviously, with Lamont Howard, he's a guy that has really come through for you on the outside for you throughout the season. Just as I mentioned, just another weapon in your arsenal with Garrett Walston, Wiz Vaughn, Keegan Santos in the lineup now. Throw in Traquan Age, and you have a pretty good set of skill players out there that have really helped out Burke this season.
Absolutely, and it's getting Keegan back. We said this last week has helped our depth, and we can use Trey at our speed and running back. So, yeah, absolutely, and it just keeps. That's the thing. If they double cover one of our receivers, somebody else is going to be open.
As we head to some of the video highlights, obviously 7-0 at the half. You really turned it on after the break. Why don't you take us through these set of plays for us?
Yeah, here's a nice pick by corner Keon Wallace to keep them out of the end zone.
Good positioning there by number 3.
Right. Again, our kicking game was excellent. Here's Harrison Hardy, our senior punter, gets a nice roll on this one. Puts him back deep. Good hustle by Brisbane, one of our corners. Again, the defense stepped it up all night, getting their first shutout of the year, which they really needed. Great tackle here by sophomore Grant Daly. Good throw and catch, nice hit here by Garrett. And kind of got things rolling there, which gave us our first score coming up. Here's a nice pass to Lamont. And he's a big receiver too. He's not as big as Garrett, but pretty close. And again, he's just a junior. Good run here by Trey. Little bubble to Lamont. Great second effort here to get in the end zone for his first score.
That really started with the block by the wide receiver on the outside, kind of sprung him there.
Yep. Here's sophomore Nas Brown on a blitz.
I know he's still Nas with his orange cleats on.
Yep. Good pressure again there by Nas, and a pick here by free safety Ronnie Beatty. Again, gets the ball back, keeps him out of the end zone.
It's his second consecutive game with an interception too for Ronnie.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can't say enough about our offensive line. You know, they just keep doing a really good job. There's Lamont again on a great effort.
A heck of a play right there.
Yep. It's, good run here by Keegan. He was out for almost 7 weeks. He's starting to finally kind of get back into full football shape.
Well, couldn't come at a better time for you.
Absolutely. Burke did a great job of stepping up, and again, there's another throw to Lamont.
Big time catch right there.
And defensively, we keep doing a great job of pursuit, getting people to the ball.
It seems like each week we kind of call a different defensive player's name, and two things, different guys on defense stepping up for you, and then your special teams. It looks like it continues to improve each and every week while the offense has kind of put up some numbers throughout the season. It's been those two facets of the game here in the last couple of weeks that have really, put you in position here to win a conference title.
Absolutely. When I came in last spring and in spring practice, that was our emphasis, was defense and special teams, and I had my hand in that. And we're bringing in Coach Tim Smith as a defensive coordinator. We've continued to keep it simple, but at the same time, try to make it so they're confident when they hit the field.
You said you came out a little flat there in the first half. How do you prevent that coming up on Friday? As teams are, you have the X on your back right now as the top team in the league.
Well, I hope that they. I gave them a pretty good little talking to at halftime, and I think I know that they learned their lesson. I hope. I feel like they will. And we'll find out today when we start practice, or on Monday.
New Hanover head football coach Earl Smith. The Wildcats once again are 4-0 in conference, 7-2 overall, heading down the last couple of weeks of the regular season. Coach Smith, always a pleasure catching up with you. Good luck this week.
Thank you, Joe.
You're watching the Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Roundtable. I'm your host, Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com as we take a look at high school football across New Hanover County, Week 10 edition of the show. Joining me now on stage is John Spate of the Lenny Buccaneers alongside Jaquavon Rogers, joined by Ashad Yeoman, the second-year head coach of the Bucks. Got it right this time, boys, and finally a bye week, Coach. One of those things that we head through the entire season. You go through 9 weeks of the regular season, and you finally get an off week kind of to reassess where you're at. So how have things gone through the week of practice leading up to game time now coming up in a couple days?
Oh, it's been great. Like you said, it's been a long time coming. A lot of guys are out with injuries and stuff and little nicks and bruises, and we needed this week to kind of regroup and get ourselves back together. And we've been on the road quite a bit, and we finally get to, come into our own stadium, for the 3rd time this season. So it's exciting. Senior night, so we're looking forward to the opportunity.
Yeah, it's had to have been tough for you this season. I know the guys could probably talk a little bit about that too. With all the changes, the delays, the lengthy bus trips that you guys have been on, just your 3rd home game now entering week 11 of the season. So it's been a challenge for you this year, just as your 2nd year as the head coach.
Yeah, it's been great, man. I love being around the kids and hanging out with them. Like you said, we put a lot of miles on the buses together, and just being around them makes it easy for me as a head coach, and seeing those guys kind of bond and come together, and it's just a great atmosphere. We love being around them.
John Spate, the tight end for the Laney Bucks. John, heading through this season, it's your second year under Coach Yeoman. What are the things, maybe some of the things that you could think of that maybe have changed from year one to year two, as far as practice or the way things, just overall preparation for game night on Friday? Have things been a little bit more organized and set in stone heading into from year one to year two?
Definitely, we've been more of a family, coming together, playing hard every game, just
Working hard.
working hard.
Jaquavon, you're an offensive lineman. Not too many times on stage or during on the newspaper, on the TV show, you're going to see highlights of what the offensive line can do for a team. Only the true football kind of guys are going to really understand what you do in the trenches and how important of a role that is into wins and losses. And how has the offensive line come along this season to where you are right now, and where do you think it can go as you head down the last couple of games?
We got a lot of seniors on there this year, so there's a lot of good senior leadership. The potential is there. We've had to move guys in and out. We've had some injuries. So when it comes down to it, we lean on each other and we pick the team up and we keep going throughout the games to keep playing hard.
What are one of the things maybe that, on a non-football fan or someone on the outside kind of looking in would know about an offensive lineman like yourself, where, you just kind of brush it by, just the true grit that you put in each and every day in the weight room all the way to the practice field and then come to game time?
We just, together, we're a family. It's the bond between us and not only the offensive line, with the running backs as well. Like, we never get our names in the paper, so it's nice to hear it from them that they appreciate it.
Well, that is obviously, you are the table setter for these linemen or for these running backs and the skill position players. They get the ball and all the highlights, but it's your work in the trenches that pay off. And John, you're obviously a tight end, so you are involved in that blocking game. What has been the best part of the offense, I guess, this season that you have been able to build off of, through this bye week?
Just going through practice or normal plays and everything. So just
continuing the grind each and every day. Coach, getting these guys, obviously in the car ride here, probably John was a little more flavorful in the car. He's very, quiet right now on stage, but that's okay. We understand.
Yeah.
Coach, these guys, obviously, you have them here for a reason. They're, potentially two of the leaders on the team, and, the other teammates look to see their example and how they practice and how they work. What are about these two guys that, the reason why you kind of brought them here tonight?
Just great kids, man. Talk about some of our core values and some of the things we want to instill in our program. These guys kind of exemplify that majorly for me as a head coach, and that's why I ended up bringing them today. I don't have any issues out of them as a player, as a student athlete, anything like that. So, leadership. These two guys aren't much of a talker, but they do exactly what they need to for the team to be successful, and they're setting a great role model example for the others. So. That was one of the reasons why I brought these guys today.
For these, like I said, not much of this spotlight for a tight end that spends a lot of time blocking, a right guard that is obviously entrenched in the running game. What are about these two guys that really stand out to you on the field when you're looking back on some game coverage from the previous weeks?
Just kind of like what you were talking about earlier, some of the grit and grind that these guys go through every single down. If these guys aren't in contact with somebody on the other side of the football, it's not going well for us as a football team. And these guys are. One of the things that people don't realize is if they don't touch anybody, our offense won't be successful. It starts with these guys up front, and they take a hard hat mentality to what they do every single day.
Well, you two are football players, and obviously, that's kind of what you are in high school. What are some things maybe that no one knows about you that you maybe would like to say to the listening audience tonight, or the viewers? Maybe just some things that they don't know about you, other than what you do on the football field. You don't do anything. You just play football.
He reads poetry.
Yeah, I'm a poet. I'm a poet. I write nice little stories about unicorns and
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
So he's just a big offensive lineman, just like to shove. You guys are so soft-spoken here on set, but I have a feeling that that's not how things go in the trenches come Friday night.
Where
do you find that anger from?
There's no anger. You get your job done, you know? You got your assignment and you just execute to the best of your abilities on Friday nights and all day in practice, every day in practice.
Well said.
Yeah.
Jaquavon Rogers, right guard of the Laney Bucks. John Spite, the tight end. Coach Ashad Yeoman. Guys, it's been fun up here tonight. You guys should come back, all right? Good luck the rest of the way, fellas.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break here on Sports Roundtable. We'll catch up with Hoggard head coach Craig Underwood and Ashley head coach Jeff Turner right after this. Hey, football fans, welcome back to Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Katz from PortCityDaily.com. We're continuing our conversations this evening with all of the football coaches from New Hanover County. We appreciate the Laney Bucks for stopping by last segment. Up next is Hoggard coach Craig Underwood, and the Vikings came off a 30-13 win down in Charlotte against a good West Brunswick team the other night. Bryant Sasser had a touchdown pass to Colin Hare. Rashad Wallace found the end zone. The Vikes are 3-1, 5-4 overall. 3-1 in conference. And coach, right before we get to some of the video highlights, 30-0 late in the game. So basically pitching a shutout on the defensive side. Really, I think coming into your own here down the stretch.
Yeah, very very pleased, especially defensively and special teams wise, the way we played Friday night. Offensively, we started a little slow. We really challenged the guys. Road game, treat it kind of like a playoff game. We answered the bell and got a tough win on the road, so proud of the way we played.
Zach Giuffre had a scoop and score. We kind of talked about him just off air a bit and what he's been able to do since coming into the program, and now a couple of years later really producing for you.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Zach and several guys, especially on our defensive side of the ball, some of those seniors really just hard work through 4 years, earned their way. I think he's played every down this year. So.
Well, as we take a look at some of these highlights, I mentioned Bryant Sasser with a touchdown pass. Rashad Wallace had a touchdown run.
Yeah, here you see Rashad pounding in. Just our heavy set there, so offensive line doing a great job. We're able to block 2 punts this game. Carson Whittaker going through and getting that block for us. We have really had some success, luckily, and I really attribute to the kids' effort. This is Cullum Crowley on a tackle for loss here. Cullum converted to linebacker about 5 weeks ago and has just gotten better each week. He had about 3 tackles for loss in this game. Here you can see him again. That was Giuffre coming through the middle. And Sean Miller in there as well, defensive end that's really coming along. So he's only a junior, so we're excited about that. A little bit of fake jet inside run. West Brunswick does a lot of that and does a good job of it, so that was a big test for us. I felt like the kids, we really shut them down for 3 quarters. Struggled a little bit at the end of the game. This is Daniel Brunson. I'll tell you, Daniel came in this series, makes 3 straight tackles, and the third down, a big sack to set the tone. He's a spark plug player. Works a little bit of nose guard, works a little bit of linebacker. He just does a great job. Here's Omar Jones, our captain, and Daniel Brunson again.
Yeah, Omar kind of just passed the running back off and said, "No, I'm going to get the quarterback."
I tell you, he's a smart player. That's one of the things that really helped. You can see Brunson just accelerate right there. But Omar, he as a senior, you can just tell a kid that has bought into coaching points through the years and made plays. Here's Cullum Crowley again, great read on a jet sweep. He really had an outstanding game. Very proud of him.
It seemed like in the couple of plays before that, you were loading up the box, and then we were relying on the defensive line
I'll
to
tell
take
you,
over.
we really we challenge the secondary. Our secondary has come along each week, and we've had ups and downs with them. But we challenged them and said, hey, we're going to load the box. We're going to pressure these guys, and it worked well for us. Here you see Rashad. Nice little option pitch there. Big first down. Here goes Bryant Sasser on the sprint out. This is Colin Hare, had a big night receiving. Sasser to Hare for a touchdown there. Colin had a few different big catches. Good protection from the O-line there on that play as well. Here's Miller and Brandon Ray, our senior free safety. Working to make a play.
Second block
Here's
punt.
our second block punt, and that's Zach Giuffre again running it in for the touchdown. Special teams. I'm a huge believer in them. Tristan Candair, love to get him a touchdown because he is our lead blocker. I mean, if you watch our offense, he's our lead blocker, and anytime we can get him a little reward for that, it's great. He does a great job catching the ball out of the backfield. Here they work a little screen there. It's Colton Crowley again, along with the defensive line. Giuffre coming in off the edge, as well as Daniel Brunson. Senior defensive players especially had a big night against these guys. They did a lot of flops and trades on them. Credit West Brunswick, their offensive staff, on bringing some new things into the game plan that kids had to adjust to, and they did a good job adjusting. You know, they saw it once, and then we adjusted on the sideline, and they did a good job of answering that.
Well, I think that the course of the season, then obviously in every game, you're going to have adjustments throughout the year.
No doubt about it.
Coach, you know, you're kind of back in the win column here. You're in second place in the conference. What have been some of the adjustments that you've made, I guess, since that New Hanover setback that have put you in a position here, you know, to finish off strong?
Well, you know, I mean, obviously that was a frustrating setback, but to keep the kids on the positive note of, hey, guys, we are a good football team, and, you know, you better believe it, but you know, nothing comes without work, and just continuing to pour that message of hard work pays off, and our kids have bought in. So I won't say there's been a huge change in mentality. It's just, you know, staying the course.
And yeah, I think that's been a staple of what you've been able to do over the course of your time there, and back to when you were playing at Hoggard. Was this sticking to you know, the consistency and what works, and just knowing that the process, as long as you work the process, that eventually, you know, you're going to come out on top more times than you come out on the bottom.
You're going to get better each week. That's our goal. You're going to get better every single week in all three phases of the game.
Well, anytime you can get Tristan Candare a touchdown catch, I'm in for that. Love fullbacks who have hands. So with that, Hoggard coach Craig Underwood here on Sports Roundtable. Coach, good luck on Friday.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll take a quick break here on Sports Roundtable. We'll wrap up the show right after this. Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Roundtable. I'm Joe Catanacci from PortCityDaily.com. Catanacci, got to get it in there for Coach Turner. He likes me to use my full name instead of Joe Katz as I go by oftentimes on the radio and at PortCityDaily.com. Wrapping up the show, Week 10 edition of Sports Roundtable, our look and talk with coaches from across New Hanover County. Actually, Coach Jeff Turner and Coach, you know, coming off a disappointing, obviously, setback to the New Hanover Wildcats, but in that game, 7-0 at the half. Maybe just some general thoughts on how the second half played out for you, obviously.
Well, I'll tell you, it is disappointing. You know, you go into the first half and, you know, you're 7-0 and you like to move the ball. And it's sort of the story. It's like, you know, the first half has showed how far we have come, and we have come along. And then the second half sort of shows how far we need to get to. And, you know, you play the one half and then you come out and there's a mental process and a whole process that's taking place. And if I can describe it as sort of what I just said, the first half shows we've come a long way, and second half, it's going to show we got to get better at that. And I was disappointed at some things. I think, you know, really struggled offensively, defensively hung in there, but then at the end sort of just were on the field, you know, 90-plus plays or whatever it may be, and it was just too much. And you know, we're playing a good team. Hanover's a great team. Earl Smith's done a great job there, and they got, you know, the talented athletes that if you mess around with, they're going to put points on the board, and can't do that. So it was, you know, it was a process, and it was a learning experience, and is disappointed, maybe somewhat irritated by it, because I'm not good at taking, you know, that second half. We need to fix it, and that's something that we got to work on. It's not acceptable in my book.
Well, I think you put it a great way. Obviously, you don't say this, but you've been nicked up on the defensive end a little bit. So obviously, to have guys out there and a lack of depth against a high-powered offense like New Hanover, things are going to happen there. That second half, it kind of just got away from you a bit. But I like the, you know, kind of the analogy that you played there. You know, first half was, you know, showing all the improvements and the great strides that you have made this year, because you have made some great strides in getting in the win column a couple of times, getting back-to-back wins just a couple of weeks ago, but then kind of getting leveled out a little bit, saying, wow, we still have a long way to go in order to, you know, compete with the New Hanovers, the Hoggers, the top teams in the conference, really. And I think that's where you're at right now.
Absolutely. It's you know, it's a process with not just the players, but the school, the coaches, everybody, and you know, that doesn't happen overnight, but it, you know, it could happen sooner than later. But right now, you know, there will be a ton of learning that's happening this year that we can really grow from real fast. And so it's frustrating, but it's happening, and it's a challenge every day you go in there.
Well, I think you're definitely making some strides as we take a look at some of the highlights from Friday night in that game against New Hanover. Ashley, obviously in black, and you can take us through these set of plays for us.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, defensively hung in there, did some real good things. D-line's working real strong and shutting down those athletes. And, you know, again, I felt good going in the half, and we just didn't step it up. And, you know, most of these highlights are defensively, and I was disappointed in how the offense came out the second half, more mentally than anything, and that's something that's got to be fixed.
Well, there against a pretty good quarterback, you know, you're able to get pressure on him with just 4 guys there on the defensive side.
Yeah. I mean, they're getting pressure, and that's one of our few good runs on the defensive side. I mean, offensive side, and you know, you just can't let guys hang around and be on the field 3 and outs with these guys, and taking a bunch of kids that we have. That is good play by Sean Ross here playing on Garrett. That was a flag on offensive interference. Right here's a good pressure from Jared Hollins, defensive end. He's a senior. But most of these guys are, you know, again, the process, a lot of these guys are going to be back, and just to understand what it takes and how to practice and how to get ready for a game and how to mentally be there. And that's something that's a work in progress, and it still has I see great strides, and you know, it's frustrating, but you know, I get a lot of the support from old players that I've had, and you know, they're looking forward to being there, and that's really what it's all about is the kids, and hopefully we can just keep getting better.
Well, I know you had one of the, you know, you talked about some of those injuries. Russell Corbett is a guy that's been out for you, and really throughout the first half of the season, we saw his name and number a lot on the defensive line. Also saw another big tackle, D tackle in there. He's a youngster, the Barbera kid, and he's a guy that's going to grow for you and maybe take over kind of that Russell Corbett spot here in the future.
Oh yeah, Joe Barbera. He's only a 10th grader, and he's strong, fast, and quick, and he's got some football pedigree from his dad, who played at Iona, I believe, or Fordham, excuse me. And he's a great kid. But we have a lot of kids like that, and you know, we do have some injuries. We lost one of our safeties again this week, and so we're trying to give other guys an opportunity to come in. So it's going to be a challenge, and I hope that we can come in and be mentally tough enough to get through this week of practice, because you know, we got to toughen up in that respect.
Yeah, really wrapping up the season with your 3 in-county teams to finish up the year. New Hanover, Hoggard this week, and then Laney next week to close out the regular season. A way to end the run for you here in the first season as the head coach at Ashley.
Yeah, man, going back to Hoggard, you know, and then getting Laney at home. It'll be hopefully a very interesting game, you know.
Well, Coach, it's always a pleasure catching up with you, and I know that you're working your tail off, and you got the guys. You'll have them guys ready for Friday, so good talking to you, Coach.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Ashley Coach Jeff Turner, I know he's a little fired up right now, coming off a defeat, never likes to take it. Sports Roundtable, another great edition of the show. We'll be back next week as we recap Week 11 of the action, heading down the stretch with just 2 games to go in the regular season. For everyone here at New Hanover County Schools TV, I'm Joe Katz. We'll talk to you next time.